At it again. What do you know? I have to address this. Like, I was following Crimson Desert for maybe not since the beginning of its development, but like long into its development cycle, and then, like approaching its release. I was actually kind of interested in Black Desert Online, but again, like, I don't like MMOs because the whole disconnect between real time and then turn-based combat where they try to do a bridge between the two, and I suppose it's like a workaround to having like a gigantic online thing where everyone's just talking, chatting, interacting with each other. But he snapped. I watched, I think, three of his playthroughs. Now when I say I watched them, like, you know because I just want to hear his opinion about it. I would like watch some of the content because I'm kind of interested in the game. I want to know like what kind of armor sets there are, what kind of enemy types, what kind of environments, right? And I just like casually scroll through it and then like go towards the late end. Like I think it's he gives like his thoughts on it in the final 5 to 10 minutes, maybe long. Actually, I think it was longer. I think he was just like chatting it up with his chat room because like they were in disbelief. Oh my God, Crimson Desert is a mediocre and somehow a bad game. And I could be misquoting Zach. Okay, again, disclaimer. I don't represent him. I don't know him. I'm just a fan. I watch his channel. That being said, I think he said something like a 6 out of 10 on Crimson Desert, and I'm just like I'm actually I've lost. I'm at a loss. Okay, so to speak about myself, right? Like I'm more into like these real-time-ish action games. Like I understand the whole appeal of MMOs and like, Final Fantasy, was it 14? Like I have a bunch of friends who still play it to this day. Like I understand the appeal of it, but like if it's not like, Monster Hunter, if it's not like near Replicant, right? Like I don't like Automata. Like it's way too perverted. People think I'm soft for saying that, but I don't give a fuck. Like it's one of those things where you know what I mean? Like maybe the newer generations they don't suffer from this, but like if I bring a girl over to my house, just bust out this game and start playing it, unless it's at the Adam and Steve part. Yeah, there's Adam and Steve in this game in near Automata. Unless it's that, she's breaking up with me. Like, well, playing this character running around like a fucking negligee and shit. You don't even know like how old she is. She got some underage like boyfriend and shit. They're both wearing blindfolds. It's like some kind of like Japanese thing. I noticed ever since Tenchu 2, like they've been running that style. From Soft has been going hard with that style. It's something to do with Buddhism. The less you see, the more open your mind is, right? But like to see the horror that has befallen sorry, not Black Desert, Crimson Desert is just eye-opening because as a game developer, or sorry, potential game developer, like I haven't actually released anything. I always wonder to myself what kind of genre and what kind of style do I want to suit my game upon, because it's like, okay, I grew up playing Western games and stuff, like very by the books, very kind of to be expected, boring. Like, you know what I mean? Outside of like the really high production value campaigns, like nobody really remembers the single player of like most first person shooters. Like, I'll give you a probably the worst example though, which is Titanfall 2. And I say worst example because that everyone speaks about how memorable, how like amazing that single player campaign was, how it made you feel closer to your Titan suit and like whatever, just the controls, everything, how you fought like enemy characters, and it's kind of funny. And like typically for multiplayer only games, right? Like that was seen as a step forward. Now, fast forward to today, nobody talks about Titanfall anymore. They talk about its, its stepchild. Like there's this K-pop band. I think they're from Canada, if I'm not mistaken, called Cat's Eye. Um, they're apparently sponsoring or sponsored by. I'm not too aware of this. Valorant, which is just Titanfall's adopted child. I'm like, no hate on Valorant. Like, it has its fan base, and I hear it's a pretty good game. But I'm like, I bring that up because it's like you had something that had potential, and then you threw it all away for basically a modified version of Overwatch. Like maybe Overwatch was technically I don't even think Overwatch was well no yeah Overwatch was the first game to do it. Like if you want to be really technical about the whole class and team vibe co-op type shit, you can go for Left 4 Dead, but like that's a survival co-op game. It's a different vein from these arena character thingies like Marvel Rivals and this and that. Like that's where the money is, though. I'm not gonna like pretend like okay, let's be unprofitable and like just release games that I want to play. Like I'm here trying to rep for like Damon X Machina Titanic Scion because I bought it, right, like pre-ordered it and everything because I have like this idea that I think mecha games are the next step from character dramas, if you will. Like we've all seen the character who has to get revenge. We've all seen the character who has to save his love interest. We all have to see the character. You know what I mean? Whether he or she is saving their kingdom, fighting off evil, dragon, get some crystal, whatever, right? You've seen it all before, and yet, like the closest thing we have to mech drama is front mission games, which are turn-based strategy games, mostly locked to Japan, by the way. And recently, just recently, although I could be wrong about this because I'm bringing up Damon X Machina and all this shit, right? Like Armored Core 6, one of the stronger narratives for a mech game, despite the fact that there's no character portraits. Your character isn't voiced at all, which actually makes sense. But then, like it's just it's video games, right? And then subsequently, after the success or failure of Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, depending on like who you ask. If you ask me, I think Night Rain is a direct response to the stale nature of Elden Ring. Because it's like, okay, Elden Ring as a single player game is amazing, but then you take that shit online, you're like, oh, not this shit again. Everyone's just spamming L2s and team ganking you, and like, yeah, I understand that like the programmers want to make it so like invaders had like the absolute most difficult, most hard time, unless like the player who was hosting the whatever their thing could like taunt the people to come into their match without like asking for co-op helping from friends and shit. Because like I think that was the catalyst. It's like the second you start inviting people to your game is the second you have invaders come in, and it was just getting old because it's like again like you press one button to win basically in Elden Ring base game, and then Night Rain comes out and they completely took out any form of PvP because it's just like this is the fucking weakest part of the game, man. It's just the absolute weakest. So yeah, I know I get on like these rambles and stuff, right? But like more to the point of Crimson Desert, it is and I've seen this from other Korean games where on some aspects it's like wow, this is so refreshing. Like you have such a extensive move list. The game is like world is vast. It's non-linear. Some of the scripting for the missions, and here's the thing that like I dislike about Asman, writing the game off. I think he put in something like 16 to 20 hours so far. So I'm not like I know he's a busy guy. He has other things to do and shit. But like this was one of those games where, and everyone says it's not enough. You gotta go 60 and up. And depending on your skill level too. So like a guy like me, I'm not gonna like see any of the good parts of this game till at least 200 plus hours. Like, huh? How do you solve this puzzle? It got those fucking Breath of the Wild ass puzzles in there, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, okay, so you got these guys. They made Black Desert on. I actually haven't played it before, but from the trailers that I saw and the videos on YouTube, like the animations are top notch, particle effects, everything. And I'm like, kind of scratching my head. Like, this is an online game. It doesn't seem like an online game. It looks more like a single player game. So I always thought to myself that like if these people make a single player game, it would be a natural evolution to, the massive amounts of money you make on these online MMOs with the whales, as they say. People just dropping like, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, possibly millions of dollars in your game. Well, if it's around for that long, right? And they're losing their minds. The controls, some of the quests, right? And like I get this too. Like I'm playing Demi Ex Machina, and they're like, what is the fucking point of this quest? You just want me to use this weapon just this one time so I can like complete the quest and then I never have to use it again, or just just random bullshit that like doesn't really serve the purpose of anything. And I find that to be very Eastern, like antiquated game design that like was purposely put there to increase the scope of a game, whether artificially or by nature. Like it was always going to be in the game. Like I can see how this differs from the whole walking simulator of the West. Like they're both pretty much trying to do the exact same thing, which is fucking waste your time and actually solve actual like nothing. Nothing of value was lost. You could have just like played the game drunk. Like what just happened? And yeah, it's okay, man. You just like you had to get some honey for some from some bees and shit from the beehive, or I don't know, water your garden or some shit like that. And he's losing it because he can't stand like the inventory system. He can't stand how you like the combat isn't a one to one. Even though like he cut his teeth on MMOs, like I find that like Asmon has been trying to hit more mainstream games as of late, and like he's more experienced than me in these types of games than MMOs, obviously. But like I can see how like you going from a game like Neo 3 back to like MMO style ish games where pressing buttons is more or less a suggestion rather than an actual command. Like yeah, I can totally see how this guy's writing the game off. But it's like 6 out of 10. Now we're like I can't speak for this guy. Like I can't change his opinion. I don't want to. But here's where I find like contention with that. Um, Crimson Desert is a fine game, but if it's going to be judged on the merits of its like it's the things about it you like the least, right? The lowest common denominators, if you will. You're just gonna bring the score down. Now the people who are out there giving this games eights and nines, like a lot of them could be paid off. Like Fighting Cowboy has in the past, showered praise on Assassin's Creed Shadows. Or I think he was just like, ranting at some guy being racist in his room. But, Assassin's Creed Shadows sucks dick. You could pay, like, pay me to play that game, dog. Like, can you imagine? You trying to insult Japanese people? And then, like, you're trying to, like, say, hey, you're being racist against black people? Like, what? What about that part where you destroy the Japanese shrine and they had to model that shit in? Like, why can't I take my katana sword and just like trash this guy because they didn't put it in the game, dude. It's like you imagine this guy trying to teach me a lesson. It's like, okay, this is how you use the spear. And I take my sword and just like cut it across everything. What the fuck are you doing, man? You know how long it took me to paint these things? But of course, like you just chop the shrine down, like nothing really happens, and then Ching Chong. Yeah, that's a song in Assassin's Creed Shadows. So again, like I don't trust the credibility of these fucking mainstream ass motherfuckers. Although people would argue whether or not that he is. Um, what I will say is that Crimson Desert is a game for Asian people. Okay, here let me finish. Okay, if you score high on your math tests, if you like watching anime, have a body pillow. Okay, maybe not the last one. Chances are you're like Crimson Desert, man. Yeah, like it's that kind of game where it's like it's more of a thinking man's game rather than a warrior's game. Like you're not gonna feel that much of a power fantasy because there are skill checks. It's like it's a mathematical Asian. I do well in school. Please don't beat me, father type game. That Asian love. And then like you gotta like appreciate the scope of it. Like people are talking about like the graphics and this and that, and I bring that up as an aside because even though graphics really shouldn't define whether or not you purchase the game solely, like it has to be said that the industry has moved forward since Ghost of Yotei. Well, specifically Ghost of Tsushima, and then subsequently Ghost of Yotei, and then Elden. Well, first it was Ghosts of Tsushima, then it was Elden Ring, and then Ghost of Yotei. And what I'm talking about is how you build this world. See what you're looking at, like thousands, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of blades of grass moving individually. Every single piece of the tree foliage moving, whatever, individually based off of the wind and stuff, right? Like, it's not perfect, but like when you're just playing the game like this and you see like, the things fluttering in the background and all the animations just like playing out, it is an experience that I think differs from the Eastern philosophy, where they just want to show you pretty stuff to your face, and then like you'll appreciate the little things kind of as you go along, but it's not like a main focus. It's more about you know balance your taxes, collect the right amount of items, and meet these skill checks, and then solve these very arbitrary and hard to like. I think one of the ones that Asman was really pissed off on, I think he ended his stream on it, was the whole how he has to use a dagger as a key, even though there's no prompt for that, and you have to basically inspect it with a lantern, and then it does the quest, and that's how it completes the quest. I mean, it's a shame. Take care, everybody.